Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we are going to chat about an article that was put up by Games Workshop, I know, a couple of days ago. We're a little bit late on it. Been a couple of busy days in the home life with the wife and the keys, but we are going to chat about it because I am super excited to always see more Warhammer the Old World stuff coming, more Warhammer the Old World development diaries, and this one is a really important one, of which I hope leads to some other information. Hopefully they release before launch so people with models can get stuff ready for launch of the game. Now this one is about on bases and the Barons of Bretonnia. So to start with, first of all, alongside many new kits, some of which we previewed last month, Warhammer the Old World will herald a return of some much-missed ranges of Citadel miniature. Amongst these will be the chivalrous armies of the Kingdoms of Bretonnia, one of the most iconic armies of the Old World. To celebrate this glory, Return the Warhammer Studio created an entirely new army to appear in photography, and so the talented members of the Ever Metal and Army Painter team set to work on the army of Duke Gastil, the Red Hand of Bretonnia. So you get a cool new Duke model. This is pretty awesome here. I love the falcon on the model. Now, Bretonnian armies look amazing, but painting every knight with unique heraldry can be a daunting task. But in the era of the Old World that we're looking at, it's not uncommon for knights to be a part of a regional army. An army's general would be a duke or baron, and the whole army's heraldry will reflect personal heraldry in some way. Each duke rules one of the 14 dukedoms, and their heraldry is a symbol of that realm. Barons serve dukes, ruling smaller regions. A baron's heraldry features themes such as that match to their dukes, but differ in details such as the pattern on the field or the exact nature of the device. And so you get a cool look at, more cohesive looking Bretonnia. Not that anyone is going to do that. If you're doing a Bretonnian army, for me, it's all about all the different colours and everything you can bring in. I think it's one of the most interesting things to bring for a Bretonnian army is painting all your knights differently. Now, the core of the army, Knights of the Realm, on foot and mounted, which is really, really cool to hear. We are going to get Bretonnian Knights on foot. I love to hear this. Knights Errant, Pegasus Knights, and all peasant units wear the heraldry of the General. Now, so get all this cool sort of look here at the Bretonnians. I mean, first of all, there's a couple of things to note. I love the green flocked table and terrain here. This just takes me back to so many good times when I was younger. For those who don't know, fantasy for me really was the game I got into Warhammer with properly. Obviously introduced to things like Space Crusade and Hero Quest back in the day. And then Warhammer Fantasy was the game that really took my imagination. After sort of seeing a few of the Lord of the Rings magazines come out when I was younger, I very much sort of grew up in a time where Lord of the Rings had, was starting to hit cinemas. And that's really where my love of fantasy comes from. And so, yeah, we're going to see a ton of different Bretonnians coming back. I'm super excited about this. So this is really interesting because there is a couple of things here. So what's going to happen in a lot of these armies is we are actually going to see some new kits come, but we're also going to see a lot of older kits return. Now, onto basing. As you can see, our painted models are on square bases. But these are slightly bigger than they were back in the days of Warhammer Fantasy. The majority of models in Warhammer the Old World will still indeed sit on bigger bases, and there's a few reasons for this. Over the decades, our models have become larger and more dynamic, which means that many units have become difficult to arrange into rank and file. Players must be able to line their models up without complex planning about which spear has to go where in order to use them in a game. On top of that, we didn't like the look of back ranks that were hidden and hard to see. So now all 20mm bases have been replaced with 25mm bases, but not all 25mm and 25 by 50mm bases have been replaced with new base sizes. Now, this is going to upset a few people, but straight away, there are answers to this already in the community all over the place. So straight away, obviously, a lot of people didn't want to rebase armies or have to rebase Age of Sigmar back to Fantasy. Movement trays are the key. This is how you solve this issue. All base adapters, and I've seen both things already appear on the Warhammer Old World, Warhammer Fantasy Indeed, even the Age of Sigmar pages, because you got to remember, a lot of those communities are intertwined. So it is always worth remembering when we're talking about Old World, when we're talking about Age of Sigmar, those communities are fairly similar. Now, so first of all, I noticed 6 wide. That's an interesting deployment method, and 3 deep. But they're on 25mm, which just looks so much nicer. And as someone who has had like Blackheart Corsairs, you know, Saurus Warriors, I remember, were terrible on 25mm bases. Bloodletters are another unit. Even things like Storm Vermin were not great. Many units just did not work on those bases, so I could not be happier. Now, like I said, there are base adapters that have come out that literally just sit your 25mm base. You can glue them into these base adapters if you want, and then just continue, you know, a little touch-up of basing around it, and done. There's also movement trays that are evenly spaced as well, so you could easily do that, and then put your basing in the middle of the movement tray. And so, next question, are the models getting bigger? No, the new models will be in the same scale and returning range from Warhammer Fantasy Battle. The base size change has come about because some of the 90s and 1000s model became difficult to rank up, and we're taking an opportunity to fix this problem. It will mean newer models joining the range can be more dynamically posed, but proportions will remain the same. So this means Old World will be keeping that 28mm heroic scale rather than the 32mm heroic we have seen both 40k and indeed Age of Sigmar move to. Now, do I need to rebase my old army? If you're playing at home, there'll be no requirement to rebase. For casual play, the size of the base will make a minimal difference on gameplay. The rules were written assuming the new larger base sizes, so if you're planning to play competitively, you might want to upgrade to larger base sizes, but like I said, there are, you know, quite a few things that have already come out that make this super easy. How do I know the correct base size for my model? Base sizes will be given in every model's profile. Please, GW, if you want this community to get off to the right start, please let's get these base sizes out to begin with. Get them out now. These base sizes should be released now so we know what's coming. You don't need to tell us any new units base sizes because we don't need to know that. But for anything that was existing and that is coming back to the range, I would love to see the base sizes released now. So, I mean, for an army besides my dwarves, who are all on 25mm bases now, can have their models ready to go at launch. So can I take old armies to organised play? Sure, but organised play events, tournaments, campaigns, etc. will probably require armies to be based appropriately for the new game or in appropriate movement trays. Organised play requires some standardisation, and this is the best way to do it. Will we be able to buy bases? Yes, all models in the Warhammer the Old World range, including returning models, will be supplied with the correctly sized bases. This is awesome because I remember this for Age of Sigmar for ages. You would have to go buy a bunch of round bases along with the box of models that hadn't had their bases updated. And this was extremely annoying. But we'll also be selling bases and movement trays as well. I really hope they bring back those old modular movement tray packs. They were amazing back in the day, being able to cut it and plan and have your movement trays as you want them. There are so many different companies that produce bases. I know in my local area we have Back to Basics, which is awesome. But yeah, I'm really excited for Old World. This is a game that I have so much want to succeed. We're probably going to start rebasing our fantasy armies now, and hopefully we can get some information from GW on the base sizes for some of our other armies that have not so many 20mm base models like the dwarves we've got. And so we can get those other base sizes, you know, told to us so we can get these armies ready for the table. But with that said, what is your thoughts on all of this? What do you think? Are you excited for Old World? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And so that is the end of the video. We hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, drop us a comment down below letting us know what you thought about the video as well. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our great little community here at Sinful Gaming, we have a Discord server, which is linked down in the video's description, and also linked in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel. This can either be by grabbing some channel merch, by going to our Ko-fi store or our Teespring store, or by grabbing some dice from somewhere like the Baron of Dice, where we are sponsored by such a company, or you can go help directly support us by Patreon or YouTube members as well. All of those things are linked down in the video's description. As a special thank you to everyone who does support via Patreon and YouTube members, we'd like to give you all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons: Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowe, Alderon Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Cure Dynamic, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Colorblind Magic, Grimscold, and Andy C. And to our YouTube members: Green Roots Gaming, Ronya, Lockloric, the Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty Stabletop Terrain, Davis Weir, James Tillman, Gargamel196, Disco, and John Castle. Lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing channel artwork for us, and indeed to everyone who helps come on and do the battle reports, and indeed to everyone who helps keep our Discord server a fantastic place for hobbyists to come chat. With that all said, everyone, thank you all for watching. Once again, don't forget to like and subscribe, drop a comment down below. Stay safe, everyone, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.